I'm making a kielbasa sausage pasta. It sounds like a mouthful, but I promise you, it's really good. First off, we're going to start by cutting up one onion. I'm taking off the ends to make it easier to peel. Once we're done peeling, we're going to dice them up into little squares. Here I'm cutting them horizontally. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can tell, mine aren't. Turn it, and then we're going to cut them. I'm using one medium-sized onion for this recipe. Next, I'm going to cut one bell pepper, take off the top, and then empty out the seeds. I'm going to cut it in half. To make it easier to cut, I'm taking off the ends, and then I'm going to slice them lengthwise. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly sized. And then we're going to turn it and cut it into little squares. I think the hardest part about this recipe is probably cutting up all the ingredients. We're going to move the onion and bell peppers to the side. I'm using roughly 1 head of garlic, 6 to 8 cloves. You can add more or less depending on how much you like garlic. I really like garlic, so I'm going with a little extra in mine. Coarsely cut the garlic and then into finer mince. I'm using about 1 pound of Brussels sprouts. We're only going to use the leaves on the outside of the Brussels. We're not going to use the inside for this recipe. I like to save the inside for roasting. I'm going to take off the ends. And then take the first 2 layers, and that's what's going to go into the pasta. The inside I like to cut in half, put it aside, and then roast these later with olive oil, black pepper, salt. I'm going to set this aside. I like to get all my chopping done at once, so I'm going to chop up some parsley right now. I won't be needing this until the end when I'm garnishing. The lemon's also for the end too. I use about 1 to 2 lemons in this recipe. Cutting it in half and setting it aside. Now is a good time to actually take out the pits. That way when you juice the lemons later, you won't get little seeds in there. And then I'm going to cut another lemon. This is more for garnishing as well too. I'm going to cut it in half, and then in 2/4, and then into 8ths. On to the best part, the kielbasa. I use about 1 pound of kielbasa sausage. Here I'm cutting it in half to make it easier for me to slice them. I like to cut the kielbasa diagonally. I'm cutting the kielbasa into roughly 1/2-inch slices. Whew, we're finally done with all the cutting. Now onto the fun part. We're going to heat up a pan, drizzle in some oil, put in the kielbasa, try to put it in so that they're not overlapping. That way they can all heat up evenly. Flip them over roughly about 3-4 minutes. You want them to be a nice golden brown. Take them out the pan. Using the same pan, add in the minced garlic. Give the garlic a good stir. Make sure they don't burn. Now time to add in the onions and the bell peppers. While the onions and garlic are cooking, add about 1/2 pound of pasta into a pot of boiling water. Make sure to salt the water. Here I'm using campanelle pasta, one of my favorites. I love the shape. It's just so fun to eat. Alright, back to our pan with the bell peppers and onions. Time to add in some salt, add in some red chili flakes. I like it with a little kick to it. Give it all a good mix. Let all the flavors meld, and then add in the Brussels sprouts. We're adding the kielbasa back in. I'm going to strain the pasta. Make sure it's a nice al dente because it'll cook again in the big pot. Add in a handful of Parmesan. I'm using Parmesan Romano here. Give it a good mix, let the cheese melt a little bit. Now's the time to add some more salt depending on your preference. Just remember the kielbasa and the Parmesan's a bit salty, so just be careful how much salt you add in there. Add the lemon. Time to garnish with some parsley. And voila, you're done. And here it is, the kielbasa sausage pasta. Pretty darn good. It's got the saltiness of the kielbasa, the Parmesan, the little spice from the red pepper flakes, and then a little kick from the lemons. I hope you try it. Let me know what you think of it.